Chiefs Kingdom, welcome back to All Chiefs Stuff. We're back with another podcast for that ass. And DeAndre Hopkins, Steve, he's not waiting around any longer. He's making it known he wants to be in the red and gold. He actually responded to Chris Jones last night on Instagram with a hands up praise symbol over the ESPYs, and Stone Cold replied back with a fingers crossed handshake. Steve, it's looking like they want DHop just as bad as we do. Are they going to make it work? Let's talk about it.
Well, we learned about a month and a half ago at this fishing tournament that Chris Jones was interested in having DHop play for the Chiefs and be their wide receiver one. He even mentioned it. I think got some questions about it. But maybe they've been in contact this whole time, man. Maybe that was the thing. Like we've been saying, maybe he's just waiting for Stone Cold to wrap up his contract extension, and then he'll see what the Chiefs have to offer him. I still think that's the track we're on here.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's going to be nice getting DHop in here, man. We've talked about it over and over and over. But DHop, doesn't he just look so good in the red and gold? Like it just looks perfect.
Yes, sir.
He looks perfect. It goes with the dreads. It goes with the black over the nose. Everything. He just looks perfect. He's going from one crappy red down in Arizona to the good red up here in the middle America, Steve. If we get DHop, we're going back to the Super Bowl. It's hands down, we're going back to the bowl.
No doubt about that. I seen where a lot of people were complaining about the number thing, though. They're like, that's Isaiah Pacheco's number. He can't have number 10. That's Pop's number.
Right.
Hey, I bet Pop would happily relinquish the number 10 to DeAndre Hopkins.
He's already said it. Rutgers Wire reported that he already said if D-Hop wants to come here, he'll gladly hand over number 10. So that is a non-talking point. Steve, today, though, 3 years ago, today, we got this story. Ian Rappaport extended Chris Jones with the Chiefs 4 years, $85 million, $60 million guaranteed to the day. Before this night's over, what if Chris Jones signs again and then we get D-Hop over the weekend? What a way to have a weekend going into training camp, kicking off next week. Chiefs Kingdom will explode if this happens.
Dude, it's going to be freaking awesome. I can't wait for it to all unfold. We appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that sub button. 95% of our viewers are not subbed, and we're trying to get to 20K before the end of this coming season. So make sure to do us a favor and smash that sub button and hit the like button to get this out to more Chiefs fans. Mike, let's move it along.
Let's do it. We got a story from Chiefs Wire today. One player from every NFL team under pressure in 2023, and they have chosen Kansas City Chiefs linebacker Willie Gay. They say, entering a contract year, no player has more pressure to succeed in Kansas City. Not only did the Chiefs invest a high draft choice in Leo, but they added Drew Tranquill in the offseason. Willie Gay has consistently been a force for the team during training camp, but for whatever reason, he's fizzled a bit during the regular season. Just last season, the defensive coaching staff took him off the field for Darius Harris in sub packages where many believed his skill set should have prospered. Whether his future in KC or elsewhere, Gay Jr. must hit the ground running this year. Do you agree with that, Steve? Is Willie under immense pressure this season to perform?
Yes, I absolutely agree with that.
I absolutely agree too.
I think he's one of the people, like him, L'Jarius Sneed. Those are both guys that we don't know if they're going to be around after this coming year. And after they got Drew Tranquill in, that really put the pressure on Willie Gay to get out there and perform, man, because Tranquill does a lot of things that Willie Gay does. Like, we like his athleticism. We like that he can get from sideline to sideline, and we like that he's good in coverage. Tranquill does those things well.
Tranquill does a lot of things well. I was looking at some stuff on Willie Gay today, and he missed 11 tackles last year. Not a huge number, but he was one of the highest ones on the team missing tackles. His run defense, very suspect. And did you know that he's known to be a good coverage guy? We all thought that was his thing. He actually only scored over a 60 in coverage, like over 6 times, I believe. So it's his suspect in a lot of things. He's got to get it together. Willie's just got to show he's more consistent, because in a contract year with the Chiefs, he's got a little bit of off-the-field problems. Sometimes he can't stay on the field healthy. Willie's got a lot to prove this year. It's pretty simple, because Drew Tranquill's going to come in hot, and Drew Tranquill can play everywhere, from safety to lining up over the slot to stopping the run to going after the quarterback. He's the real deal.
Yeah, and Willie Gay's athleticism's off the charts, right? So we know this guy has the tools. He just has to put it all together, put it on that football field, and let us know that he needs to stick around in Kansas City.
It's time for Questions from the Kingdom.
We got some questions from the Kingdom here, kicking it off. It's Friday. At Dennis can get the 7003. He says, great shows, guys. Some Chiefs channels think we may sign another vet on the D-line. Who would that be? Also, please assure me we are good at left tackle. Lastly, over-under on Chiefsaholic total year sentence. without Perot. We'll start with Chiefsaholic. He's in there for life. It's probably not happening. I think he's done enough.
He's a good 20. He's a good 20+ years, I would say.
As who the Chiefs may sign, would they sign a veteran defensive lineman? That is still possible, Steve. We've threw out the name Shelby Harris a few times at DT. We've also talked about possibly getting Carlos Dunlap back in Kansas City if he wants to come back and play another year.
Right.
I think Dunlap would be the perfect signing for me if I were Brett Veach and I were in this position.
Yeah, it's comfortable, right? If they could make it work, I'm one of those Justin Houston guys. Get that guy back over here in Kansas City in the red and gold. Let him go. Let him go off for one more year. End his career where he started it, and possibly get a ring with the Chiefs. Man, I'm good with that as well. But I do think they sign another defensive end, somebody that has a lot of years in the league. That's what they've been doing, trying to have that vet. They did it with Carlos Dunlap last year, and like you said, they might just turn around and get him back this year if he's willing to play ball.
If they do it, Steve, Malik Herring is probably going bye-bye.
Joshua Kane, though,
we know is going bye-bye. That's not a question. And then he also asked about one more thing before. Oh, he says, assure us we are good at left tackle. If Donovan Smith can stay healthy, he's better than average, I would say. We haven't seen him with a quarterback like Mahomes that's going to hold the ball longer, take a few further dropbacks. We haven't seen that yet. Let's hope it translates. I think Donovan Smith is a big time. He's probably one of the top 5 X factors to this season if we're going to succeed or not.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head there. I'm excited to see how he does. But the thing about it is, I don't know if he's really going to be worse than Orlando Brown Jr. was against those speed rushers and stuff. But we don't know if he's going to be any better either. So we might be in the same situation we were last season. You know, a lot of people got their hopes up thinking that we really upgraded that position.
Right.
We don't know yet. If Donovan Smith can get back to his form 2 years ago before all the injuries and everything, then yeah, maybe we do have an upgrade. But if he plays like he did last year with his injuries, I mean, all he did last year was let people by and get a lot of penalties. We can't have that.
Well, look, we were talking today. We were talking on Twitter with some people, Lance, Chiefs Live, a bunch of us were talking on Twitter. We were all asking, are they going to take 7 wide receivers? Are they going to take 6? We're kind of thinking 6 may be the magical point if they're going to take the 4 running backs and the 4 tight ends, because they like to play a lot of 12, 13 personnel. That's what Andy likes to do. And this is a year we kind of have a lot of uncertainty on the offensive line. You may have to go a little deeper at offensive line. And also some of your backups, like Lucas Niang, if he does make the team, he's not always available. So you may have to take way more offensive line depth. That may be that extra roster spot instead of, a wide receiver coming in for that fullback. But that's something we had discussed. Let's move it along to question number 2. Clinton Petrie at CBP 1996 asked, which rookie do you feel will make the biggest impact this season? Will they be on superstar level or just an average level starter? Steve, I'll let you take it.
That's a great question, and it kind of put me on the spot here. But I think if I had to guess, I'm going to go with Felix, even though he's just it's an easy one because he was the first-round draft pick and everything. But I think Felix has an opportunity to get out there and be a really good, solid player. Granted, I don't think he'll get to start because of George Karlaftis, Charles Omenihu, but I think he will see some time because they rotate those guys out quite a bit. I think Felix will have his opportunities, man, and he's a really boom or bust type player. Not that he could bust as a rookie, in my opinion. I think you have to give him time to develop, but he could boom as a rookie for sure. He might go off the chain and go for a double-digit sacks for all you know. If he does that, that's the man right there.
Right. I don't want to say boom or bust either. It's more like boom or
regular.
Yeah, regular. It's a boom or regular kind of guy. But either way, he's not going to be a bust. The only way you can count him as a bust is if something happens with injury and he can't get on the field. Because you would have said McDuffie was a bust last year if he could have never got back from that hamstring injury. We'd have all said that. No doubt about it, you'd have said it. So it's all going to come around injuries, how they stay healthy. I'm going to go with Keandre Coburn on that one. I think Coburn in the middle could provide a big spark for the newly extended Chris Jones up the middle. He may have Christopher going for 20, 25 sacks this year if they can be on the field at the same time. Also, don't put it past Coburn to be a little disruptive there. He could probably stunt and stuff too. He's a quick guy to be so big. So I'm going to go with Coburn. Other than that, I don't know if there's any rookies that's going to come out and be superstar status this year.
Probably not.
The class seems more modest, but at the same time, this could be in 3-4 years, this could be a very big depth class that you're like, hey, that was key in Brett Veach retaining the dynasty we have building. So moving on to question 3, Brian F. at Chiefs fan BJF. Assuming the Chiefs clear cap space with the Jones deal, and we will, what scenarios do you foresee? Hopkins is one, but what else? Do we sign Dunlap and sit on the rest for a while? Maybe some move we aren't expecting, or just sit on all of it for the space? Steve, do we sit on all of it for the space, or do you think they go get DHop? I think we're all under the assumption that if we restructure Chris Jones, DHop is a priority if he'll sign.
Right. Well, I think that Brett Veach has a number in mind. Like, I don't know exactly how much money Chris Jones' extension is going to free up.
Right.
But I think that Brett Veach already has a good idea of that, and he already has a good idea of how much he wants to offer to DeAndre Hopkins. I think what they'll do is they'll offer him a good, comfortable, contract for the Chiefs, something that makes sense, and something that he can think about. Whether it's what he wants to take or not, I don't know. That'll be up to him. But I think Brett Veach knows what he's doing. If they sign anybody other than DeAndre Hopkins, I think it would be getting Carlos Dunlap back or that veteran edge rusher that we talked about. I think that's the only real moves that you're going to see, even during camp, probably before the end of the beginning of the season.
Another team cutting somebody that maybe
right. That's what I was getting ready to say. Like you might get those surprise cuts, and there might be somebody that intrigues us a bit. But other than that, man, I think they're going to sit pretty still. Other than, hey, let's offer DeAndre something, and let's get us another vet defensive end.
Look, you've got a lot of contracts coming up. You're going to have, we've talked about it. You got Willie Gay. You're going to have Drew Tranquill could possibly, he's here on a 1 year. You might want to get him back. The same with Edwards at safety. You've also got Nick Bolton. You've got Creed Humphrey. You got Trey Smith. You're going to have, good Lord, we've got so many contracts.
L'Jarius Sneed.
You got L'Jarius Sneed. Totally missed him. You got Sneed. Yeah, man, we got so much that we have to deal with. I don't think Brett Veach is going to go on a spending spree. Let's put it that way. I think he's going to take a crack at DHop, and that might be it.
The thing about it is we all know that Brett Veach is playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers. Brett Veach probably has this money situation under control for the next 4 years for all we know. So he probably already has a pretty good idea how things are going to play out. I think him and his team, that's part of their job is to know what's going on in the future, and I think that they have a pretty good handle on it. So I don't think they'll do anything that will get the team in any kind of a situation, but I think they know what they might be able to go out and offer somebody like DeAndre to really spark this offense and take it to the next level.
Right, and it's not just us saying DHop is a good possibility. NBC Sports Bet come out today and said DeAndre Hopkins next team odds. Kansas City is a heavy favorite at this point.
Yep.
So we're not the only ones saying it. There's a lot of Chiefs fans starting to come around to it. And with that, we appreciate you guys sending in questions. We're going to move it along here. We asked Steve yesterday about this uniform. We asked people about this uniform.
Man, you had to bring up the ugly again.
We brought it back. I wanted to see what everybody said about it. So here we go. We got a few. MJ A. Mitch. I can't say these names. We're just going to call him MJ. I like the uniform, Steve. He likes it. It looks very futuristic. Like what the Chiefs will be wearing in 50 years, or if Americans ever play football on another planet. As the way Goodell's going, Steve, they may be playing on another planet within 10 years.
Well, it's not the worst concept uniform I've ever seen. I'll give them that. It has a very flash look to it or something like that. So I get what he's saying about the futuristic look. Honestly, if it wasn't for the shade of gold on that thing and the fact that there was gold in the logo, I think I could deal with it some more. But I just don't like the way something's off there. I think if the guy took it back with the same concept and just like pulled reins in a little bit, I think it could be okay. Just have to change some things up.
Right. Ray says, I'm with you fellas. That uniform concept was hideous. Back to the drawing board, Ted. We also had one from Casey BS Zombie Mowers. He says, no on the uniform. Just a big old resounding no. And then Chiefs fan 234 says, dude, those gold KC uniforms are nasty AF. I think he likes it. So we were 2 for 2. I'm with you. To me, it looks like Ronald McDonald threw up on Patrick Mahomes right there on the 50-yard line. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I want it, but the helmet is fire. I'll say that. That's a pretty fire helmet.
Right. I mean, if they just changed that logo, man, if they left it alone and left it white instead of gold, that helmet's sweet.
That time's yours.
The time is yours, Chiefs Kingdom. Let's check out your comments from our last video. Mike, what do we got?
Time is yours. Let's go. Gil, GG Omen 08 says, dudes, we're living the dream. Go Chiefs. He's right, man. It's a good time to be a Chief fan. That was in response to the Chiefs racking up the ESPYs, winning everything. Nothing more to say, Steve. That's just it's too good. James Garrett says, I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Jones signs up to $28 million. $27 million is what I think he signs at, and anything below that is a big win for us. I think he's pretty much on target right there.
I mean, yeah, I don't know where else they could really go with this. I think Chris Jones and his agent could push for more of that $30 million mark, but I think it's going to fall somewhere around that 28 range, in my opinion.
Yeah, we've been saying 28. I don't think they'll touch the 30 million. It's possible. Never say never, but I think it starts somewhere around that 26, 27, 28 range, somewhere in there. Trav Dav 69. Great video, guys. Me and my son were cracking up at the bus stop watching this. Go Chiefs. Yeah, man, we were on one yesterday. We kind of woke up, chose a little violence. It is what it is.
It happens.
Yeah. Jay Cruz. Great show, Mike and Steve. Love your energy today, always. But today, you guys were on fire. There you go, Jay. See, that's what happens when you got a little news, Steve. We had a little Chief news. We were a little fired up, like it wasn't the off-season blues we've been dealing with.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that we were fired up, but thanks for noticing, fellas.
Hey, it is what it is. Ryan White. Quinnen only got $24 million a year. Only. Haha. I was worried Chris's number was going to be up around 30, but with this number where it's at, I'm feeling super comfortable and confident about where Chris will land. Sign me up for 26, 27 a year. I'm all the way down with that. A lot of people are on board with this 26, 27. I'm telling you, if it creeps up to the 29 million mark, don't be surprised. But that's a pretty good starting point. I think everybody's pretty much on there with that one. Darren Allen Kahn. That's what I'm going to go with. Kelsey ranked third makes sense. That was in response to Kelsey yesterday, Steve, being not a unanimous tight end. But he says only as long as you're talking receptions, he's third, TD's second, and including all the wide receivers. Kelsey is a beast. Kelsey is a beast. He gets no respect. Why is it, Steve, that George Kittle gets more respect and he's not really done anything?
It's because people don't like successful guys. And Kelsey's kind of that polarizing guy, too. You either love him or you hate him because he's really eccentric. And you either just don't like him or you love him. Like I said, it is what it is. And I think people just personally don't like Kelsey, so they let that bleed over into their analysis of the tight end position. And so they always tend to go towards George Kittle, and then they use the blocking thing as an excuse. It's just flat out wrong. I mean, he's the best tight end ever. I'm going to go ahead and say it now. Sorry, Tony G. Gronkowski. No, it's Travis Kelce.
Man, yeah. He can block. The dude can block. Let's shut up with that. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for Time's Yours. We appreciate you guys. If you want to get on the segment on Monday, we'll be back with it. Let us know in the comments what you think of the episode or anything we talk about today. We may feature you. But moving on, Chiefs Wire, Steve, they report Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes has high expectations for wide receiver Kadarius Toney. In an interview with the AP NFL podcast with Rob Maddie, I'm going to say Maadi, Matt, I don't know. The 27-year-old quarterback shared his optimism about Toney. He said, I'm extremely excited. He has all the talent and works his tail off. We're going to try to keep him healthy and on the field as much as possible because when he's on the field, he's a difference maker. I think y'all saw that last year in the Super Bowl especially. He's one of those guys that if you just get the ball in his hands, he makes plays happen. I'm excited for him to have a full season with me, Coach Reed, and Travis. Sky's the limit, and he could be one of the best receivers in this league. Sky's the limit on Kadarius Toney, not Sky Moore, says Patrick Mahomes. How dare he take a shot at Sky Moore like that and use his name?
No, but what Patrick Mahomes is saying is 100% correct. Kadarius Toney could be an absolute force in this league. We see his skill set. We see the talents this guy has. It's stuff that nobody else has in this league. He's one of one.
Right.
Kadarius Toney can make a little screen pass, a 70-yard touchdown real quick. He can go out and take a punt return that looks like it's a dead end and take it back to the 5-yard line in the Super Bowl. Kadarius Toney just has a knack for it. But the main thing is he's got to stay healthy and stay on the field, whether it's take extra care of your body, work out harder in the off season, prepare better, whatever it is, man, he's got to make the extra effort to make sure he can stay on the field and not be watching from the sideline because it's kind of hard to be a game changer when you're watching from the sideline.
Yeah. Well, so far, it looks like he's done that this year. We've yet to hear of any off-season injuries. He's been working out with the team. If he could stay out of the DMs, maybe. But it's good to hear some positive news. Chiefs Kingdom's been with this. We've all said that Kadarius Toney's probably going to have a good breakout year. He was named possibly wide receiver 1 by the Chiefs. This isn't anything, but it's always good to hear Patrick Mahomes actually have a little faith in him.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think Kadarius Toney has a bigger breakout year with or without the signing of DeAndre Hopkins?
With. I think with. Without, presumably, he gets more targets. With, he's more wide open. He's used better.
Right.
Maybe
Less
he's
eyes
used
on him.
more like Michel Hardman, actually. Maybe he don't have to be a number one to be effective. You ain't got to be a number one. Sometimes number one receivers get double teamed and shut out of the game unless you're super effective. I don't know if Kadarius Toney has that take over a game mentality that you would see from a true number one. So this may be helpful for Kadarius Toney. But that brings us up to this one. PFF comes out and says, will Sky Moore make a year two leap? I think they're talking about fantasy football here in this one. By PFF Fantasy Football.
Right.
Big brain Mike figured that one out.
But that kind of correlates, right?
But doesn't it correlate? Is Sky Moore going to be better in year two, or are we just kind of overhyping Sky Moore? And maybe we missed the mark a little bit. Maybe we were supposed to go get George Pickens.
Well, that's up for debate. I loved George Pickens, and he was awesome his rookie year.
Right.
But my thing about it is that Sky Moore is going to have a better year this year than last year. He wasn't utilized very much last year. We're going to see more of him. Like I've said a million times, I think he's going to be in that Juju role, just playing the slot. Just go find a soft spot in the defense, Sky. Mahomes will get you the ball. We know that you don't drop passes, so that's a beautiful thing. Get you the ball, and guess what? You're amazing at yak. You're amazing with the yak ability. So I think that he's going to have a big year, man. I think he could really open some eyes, and he can make some big plays. I think people are going to fall in love with Sky Moore this year.
I think you're going to see what Sky Moore's going to do. You're going to see that within the first two series in the preseason, how they're going to use Sky. If they're using him for the underneath row and he does take that Juju row, Sky Moore could have weeks where he has 4 catches. He could have weeks where he has 14 catches.
Right.
It just really depends. But it's what he does after those catches. He's good with the ball in his hands. He likes to make people miss. He's very good at getting open against man coverage. If you can put him in a slot and get him on a linebacker, a lot of times you've seen that with Juju last year. He had a linebacker. He had a safety on him. That's a matchup nightmare for Sky Moore. Sky Moore could be monstrous this year.
Right.
So yeah, I think Sky's going to have a good year. I don't think people just making it up to talk about it. I do think Sky's going to have a good year. A question for you. Will Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore have a good year if DHop gets signed?
Yes. I fully believe that if DHop comes onto this team.
Targets to go around.
Well, yeah, I think if DHop comes onto this team, he does exactly what we said he would do. He's going to draw the defense towards him. Who am I double teaming, DeAndre Hopkins or Travis Kelce? And while I'm so worried about which one of those two are going to beat me, why is Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney getting overlooked and just tearing our ass up all over the football field?
Right.
I think that adding one of the best receivers to ever play football can do nothing but help your offense. It's not going to hinder Kadarius Toney. It's not going to hinder Sky Moore. And for that matter, it's not going to hinder Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice probably isn't going to see the field a ton in his rookie year. If you look back at Andy Reid, he don't use those guys. The rookies, he don't use them that much in their rookie season, especially the receivers. He likes for them to learn the playbook, to develop a little bit. We saw it with Sky last year. I think you'll see it with Rice this year. But what DeAndre brings to the team as far as on the field, off the field's just as good, because he could be a great mentor for guys like Rashee Rice or Justin Ross even. These guys that play that type of ball, that they can play the jump ball, they're bigger guys. That'll be a great guy for them to look up to and learn from, and it's only going to help the Chiefs in the future. So I hope they can get the signing done, man. I think it helps the entire wide receiver core.
Yeah, I do too. I was talking today. I think against teams like, let's just throw it out here, the Chargers, somebody that's got a really good safety. So Derwin James always just kind of matches up on Kelce. They don't even have to double team Kelce half the time. They just let Derwin James beat them to death. If they call it, they call it. They got some pretty good corners there as well. Then you've also got another team in our division, very good corner. You've got the kid out of Denver that's really good, Surtain.
Pat Surtain.
Right. So if you had DHop, Surtain is they'll probably just say, look, you got DHop, we're not even going to double you.
Oh, and he's DHop a tear little guy up.
It's debatable. I'll let you. I don't think he beats him too bad, but the point is against our division rivals, you do have that option. So that's where you just want to keep adding the weapons. That way, Mahomes has plenty of options. Because I went back and looked today. Mahomes was under 60 offensive rating and 60. Actually, it wasn't 60. It was somewhere around 65, 66. But his 3 lowest games of the year on offensive efficiency and passing efficiency was against the Chargers in week 2 and both games against Denver. Now, come on. Pat had a great season, but you can't do that against our rivals. They're going to snake one out on you because we know the Chargers always play us tough, and Denver's getting a little better. And Denver almost beat us last year if the offense would have come on.
Right. Well, just take a book out of the page out of the Chargers playbook here, man. The reason why that they're able to be successful more than you think they should be or give us a run for our money every time we play them is because they have 3 huge targets out there. You got Keenan Allen, you got Mike Williams, and now you got Josh Palmer as well. They're big guys. Like, if you get somebody just equal to them, like, you get the DeAndre Hopkins on our side of the field, we got that guy we can just throw the ball up to and hope something happens. And that's exactly what Justin Herbert does 90% of the time.
What about the fellow they just drafted in the first round this year? Put a 4th one out
Quentin
there.
Johnson. Yeah, I know.
Right. It's going to be nasty. Our defense is going to have their hands, full. But like I said, you got to keep matching that. You can't keep asking Mahomes to match it with just mediocre mids like, you're Justin Watson.
It's time to give Patrick Mahomes.
Let's just give him something.
A true number 1 wide receiver and see if we can elevate his game. We already know how good Mahomes is, and we've never seen him with any kind of help other than Travis Kelce. If you put this man on the field
that looks good.
With Travis Kelce, you might see a whole different Patrick Mahomes. You could see more deep balls. You could see more 50-50 balls. You can see Mahomes getting more confident and just throwing it out there because people like DeAndre Hopkins, they make the plays for these guys and
stuff.
Build the confidence there.
Your Sky Moore and Kadarius underneath, Steve.
You could see
even more nasty.
An absolutely electric Patrick Mahomes that will just light the absolute world on fire. You never even know.
Right. I think it takes the Andy Reid offense to a whole different level. But speaking about Patrick Mahomes, man, at Dirt Turd, what a name. Dirt Turd. What a name. He just threw this up. I just thought we'd talk about it for a minute. He said Tom Brady was never at any point in his career as stigmatizing and as recognizable as Patrick Mahomes is right now. I don't know about that. Let's move it along. Pat is at the pinnacle of the sports world. No athlete is more famous. I'll agree with that right now. Maybe LeBron James, worldwide, something like that, you could say. Only Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, and Patrick Mahomes have reached this level of success and marketability. Do you agree?
Yeah.
There's things I agree and things I don't. You can't say that Tom Brady was never this stigmatizing and recognizable. I mean, Tom Brady, you can't be the best to ever play the game, win all those championships, and then go to Tampa. This guy was still playing golf tournaments up to last year, just like Pat was this offseason.
I know what Dirt Turd's trying to say here. Tom Brady, no matter how good he was and how popular he was, everybody knew the name Tom Brady, but he's not as recognizable. Tom Brady's like if you drew 1,000 stick man, you can just point at one of the stick men, and that's Tom Brady.
You think if Tom Brady goes in the mall, people just going to walk by him and not know who he is?
I think there's a way bigger chance that people would walk by Tom Brady and never even think nothing about it as they would Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is recognizable. He's got the hair. He's got the look. I mean, it just is what it is. I know what this guy's saying, and I don't know if I would place Patrick Mahomes with MJ and Tiger Woods just yet, but I think if he continues to have the success that he's had so far in his career, by the end of it, he will be in that conversation with those 3. And it just shows you how big of a star Patrick Mahomes is because think about LeBron James don't even fit into that category. And everybody knows LeBron James. And like Patrick has a golden opportunity here. If he continues to go off, he will be in that conversation, man, where it's just like a sports icon.
Well, here's my thing. I think looking back in 20, 30 years from now, people are going to still say Michael Jordan, probably arguably the best player.
Right.
Ever play NBA. You're still going to have a big chunk of people saying Tiger Woods, arguably, even though Tiger Woods has not won as many majors and stuff, even to this point.
There's never been anything like Tiger Woods.
But Tiger Woods was a phenomenon. He brought people into the game.
Right.
I don't know if Mahomes can actually lay that claim, though, by the end. Like, he would have to do something spectacular from here.
He already has done what the other 2 have. Let me get this straight.
He's not won as many rings, though, and
that's
going to be what defines it.
Let me get to this. So Michael Jordan, there's Bill Russell. Tiger Woods, there's Jack Nicklaus. Neither of those guys have won the most rings in their sports. Neither of them. What they did was they came in, and in a moment in time, they were just incredible. They made people's jaw drop. They made people think, hey, I've never seen anything like this in sports. What has Patrick Mahomes done since he got in the league? He's done the exact same thing.
Right.
He's a face of the NFL. All the kids love this guy.
But this does
Everyone's
happen
looking
several
up to
times.
him. Yeah, dude, I don't know. Name me one person in the NFL. Name one in the NFL that's come in and just blew the doors off of it like Patrick Mahomes in the last 50 years. Name one.
I mean, I'm saying Patrick Mahomes is probably that in the NFL. But if you look at that same thing you're describing, LeBron James did that when he come into the league. You had
there's no
Rory
place for
McIlroy
LeBron
done that in
James.
golf.
No matter what LeBron James does, he'll never get over the Jordan homers. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
There's
Patrick
no
Mahomes
spot
never
for
going to be
him.
able to get over the Tom Brady homers. That's my point. I think Tom Brady's always going to be the Michael Jordan of the sport, as everybody's always going to claim. Well, until he gets as many rings.
I don't
Tom
think
Brady.
so, man. I think that Patrick Mahomes keeps performing the way he is, and Tom Brady quickly becomes the Jack Nicklaus and the Bill Russell, and Patrick Mahomes slides comfortably into that Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods role. I think that's where it's at with it. That's the way I see it already before this guy even mentioned it.
The fact that we have a player on our team in the city that is so great, that is even being able to do something like this and chase that, is pretty incredible, man. But that's going to wrap it up for today. You guys be sure to watch this video that YouTube thinks you're going to love. And thanks for subscribing and hitting that bell. We'll see you guys. Aside from my soul.